Sup, the name's Jess, and welcome back to Fault Milestone 1. So, sorry for the low thing, as usual, the low volume for the music, but YouTube wants to basically rip all of my copyright on the music and stuff like that. So that's always nice. So, last time it was a pretty interesting stream. We learned a lot, and this is really loud. Jesus Christ. Fix that in a sec. I don't think it's too loud, the whole choice thing, but now we're going to chapter 6. We're going to find out about this new sister prototype that Sid created right before he died, apparently. It's kind of weird. I don't understand this. It's so confusing, so much story, so much world, so much I don't know. Okay, so let's just get started. So, is that a new sister prototype? No, that's impossible. She's gotta be human, right? Clearly. No, there's no mistaking it. Doesn't seem to be a pulse, and I can see the irises in the camera in size. Okay. Whoa. Interesting. It moved. Alright, who activated it? I didn't even touch it. It just started moving on its own. Oh, that's the Sara thing. Who wants it? Can you talk? Do you have a voice feature? Hey, hello world. That's a programmer's joke. Ha cha cha. It's because usually when programmers make things, we always say like "hello world," just as like a little basic example text, stuff like that. It seems to be the type that could speak. Do you have a name? Name? What is a name? Looks like there wasn't any basic information loaded in. Name is a term that serves as an identifier for oneself. My name is Voltful, and this guy is Kirky. He's Albus, and the man over there is Rudo. Rudo? Oh, it seems to recognize Rudo's face? Rudo. Brother? It must be some kind of mistake. What the hell? Okay, that's interesting. Recognize his little down in the face. You don't have any name, right? Name? Something that serves as my identifier. I cannot remember. But I remember being called by something a long time ago. Then from now on, you're Sara. Remember that. The project files title? How arbitrary. Sara? Indeed. If you are asked by anyone, you are to introduce yourself as Sara. That is in order. Understood. Is this gonna be deployed at the church? The church? Ah, it's something that happened to you before you joined the company. Before, when both Sid and his wife were still alive, there was an agreement that could be created sisters. Prepare for a bundle of information, everyone. There was an agreement that would create sisters who looked just like humans from the Abbey. They would take care of the victims and business operations. But ultimately, we weren't able to create any sisters to the standards of quality that they demanded. He said even though they looked human externally, they were lacking on the inside. Damn it, Dad, what were you even thinking? So he made a replica of his daughter. Interesting. It was later discovered that Sid had falsified financial records without the accountants noting. He had laundered vast sums of money to develop a new prototype sister. Did Sid not leave a single memo on this? All the documents on the manoware and software and the terminals and equipment have all been purged because of the emergency protocol. And his planner? He's always carried a planner around with him, making sure to take notes on everything. About that, it's been burned to a crisp. Burned? That's not all. Every single document Sid's kept there for the last 2-3 years, all burned. Seeing how all these notes and documents have been destroyed so exactingly, he must have intentionally gotten rid of it all. But then why would Sir Sid have been kept working to create the sister prototype up until his death? I've already told you about this. He was frustrated with the greatest failures of his enterprise's history. When we partnered with Church, he promised that the abbot he would make a sister that would be no different than a human being. But ultimately, we just couldn't deliver on that. I'm sure he wanted to put the final nail in the coffin on that before he died. Sid must have wanted to finish his greatest failure in life, the Sisters Project. Okay. No, that couldn't be it. What makes you say that? If he wanted to create sisters for the Church's use, then wouldn't he have truly have met his goal if it could be produced in mass? But he intentionally burned all notes and documentation to prevent that. I told you, he wasn't thinking about mass reduction or even the company itself. He must have wanted to settle his personal conflicts with himself. Otherwise, he would have not felt the need to steal funding from his own Otherwise, why would he have felt the need to steal funding from his own company? But still, what's the meaning of destroying all of his documents? There must have been some kind of other driving force behind it. I have a feeling that he didn't want anyone to know what he was doing. That's basically what I'm thinking. Gentlemen, you are sorely mistaken about the problem at hand. Whatever my father was thinking, there is no way for us to ever understand it. To question the motives of a madman, there's mere act of is an utter waste of time. Albus, we don't have time to waste on foolish things like this. The amount of money that Sid has illegally channeled into this project of his is enormous. Sorry, I can't speak today. I'm sure there was a meeting with the board of the directors about whether or not this new sister prototype justified its cost. I must make preparations for that. Please return to your respective workstations, everyone. Yes, you're right. It's rather hard to swallow all this right now, but I understand. I need to recompose my thoughts. Once the day of the meeting is set, please let me know. Fruto, we need to talk. I hope this isn't more useless banter, Albus. Enough, Fruto. Look at that model of sister. Doesn't anyone come to mind? Look. It's clearly Rune, right there. Right. And you thought I didn't notice it either? Why didn't you say anything about that? It's a matter of trivial importance. So what if she looks like Rune? That minor detail has no bearing on the current situation. I think it has a huge problem to do with why he created that thing. I think that is. Well, there's something I'm now certain of, which is Sid de Heavets was truly ill. While still bitter about the loss of his daughter, he was infatuated with pretending that he could bring her back to life. How disgraceful. Sid de Heavets, the renowned scientist of the era, certain has fallen far. Jesus. You should talk a little bit better about your man, even if he was crazy. Well now, still goes without saying that the issue at hand is the numbers, or finances. I believe it's best that we not discuss this with anyone else. I don't want to cause any additional causes for concern of the board of directors. On that, and only that point, do I agree with you. I sincerely hope that this thing has enough value to warrant its construction. Albus, please start preparing for the meeting as well. Okay. So they're gonna basically decide what the hell they're gonna do with this thing? I'm against this. Look at it. Look at Sara's mannerisms. Tell me, have you ever encountered a machine that could possibly respond this naturally, this humanly? Regardless of Sid's psychological instability, the sister is clearly still the work of a genius, the work which he put his entire life into. Until we can understand the origins behind its construction, I believe we need to continue observing it. It's almost disgusting, the way it looks so realistic, as if really it were a human. And why? What's the expression in your face? Some kind of function to upset people on purpose? No, I apologize. It's as if it has emotions as well. It has to be a sister for the church's use. For it to have emotions recreated this well, it has to be a model of a sister created for its original purpose, no doubt about it. Impossible. We need to scrap this, or get rid of it as soon as possible. Despite that small frame, it possesses the strength of 10 men. If it decides to rebel against us, then who knows what could happen. Refusing to listen to other people's opinions, as always, I see. Always screaming, "No, no!" And you still call yourself an adult? Ooh boy. I seen some tension between all these guys. I asked for my opinion and I gave it. I believe this game goes the same for you, regardless of how you choose to view it. To be honest, this scares me. I cannot in good faith agree with letting a machine whose thought processes we don't even understand loose anywhere near us. I don't think those fears are really justified. Sara can speak perfectly well and be able to understand what we're saying. You only have to approach it to understand that it's not something dangerous. Besides, Sid couldn't have built something intended to be harmful to others. Considering Sid's mental state at the time, I find that assertion very hard to believe. All this aside, everyone, please. Have you all forgotten about the money that was poured into making Sara in the first place? It was just created to serve some kind of trophy. It should be put in a goldfish bowl of some sort. If that was created as a mere pet project, then I refuse to stand for this. We need to do something right now to mitigate our losses. Well, if we don't have any time to observe her, then looks like we need to take a vote on this matter. Do we get to vote? By majority vote, it was decided to observe Sara. A few weeks since then, Sara slowly formed memories and a personality began to emerge. At first, she spoke very curtly and did only what she was told, but then as time went on, then she slowly became more and more human-like to the point where other people wouldn't even notice that she was a machine. Although there were many skeptics upon the board of directors, they all eventually accepted the fact that Sara was something special. Soon after, she was placed in a field test to work in the mines temporarily under my supervision. Ooh, that's what it looks like. I thought it was gonna be some really dark place. Wow, there's so many first-generation models of the sisters here, Albus. About 90% of those working here in the mines are sisters that we built, in fact. Good morning, everyone. Pleased to make your acquaintance. All the sisters here don't speak. They're all purpose-built miners, so they don't have any excess functions. I see. It's gonna be a little lonely. Do you really think that? Excuse me? Does that really make you feel lonely? Well, I wonder. Why did I think it would be lonely? I'm not sure if I feel this is right. I'm not sure if feel is the right word either. But the first thing that came to mind is it would be lonely. Aww. So she actually does feel emotions, I'm guessing. It's a little bit different than the rune that we knew. Sara worked diligently at its job. However, when compared to the sisters designed specifically for work in the mines, its results were nothing spectacular. Ultimately, it was determined that Sara was not designed for mining work. Or at least we had determined that Sara had no particular abilities apart from bearing incredible likeness to humans. It seems that its memories are constantly growing day by day. I have absolutely no idea how it's built. Shall we dismantle it and find out? If you wish to know what makes it tick, then that's the fastest way to do so. I can't do that. If we dismantle it, then we'll be unable to reassemble it. That's the consensus of all the members at Lab 9's members. The board of directors won't even let us dismantle it, given our current level of technology. Excuse me. What is it? I don't think my name is Sara. What? I don't quite remember very well. I think a long time ago, Rune used to be my name. Do you mean you're Rudo, my brother, Sara? Between your imperfect, faulty memory, or what we say, which do you think is more credible? Everything in those so-called memories of yours is all a veil, a lie, a sham. All that was implanted by your creator says your habits as some kind of sick joke. Don't ever utter the name Rune again. That is an order. Aww. I kind of feel bad for a little bit. I mean, she didn't do anything wrong. I don't think Sid did too much wrong. I mean, he went a little cuckoo, but I don't think his intentions were wrong. Understood. Ever since Sara's confession, Rio's attitude toward her completely changed. Why does Sara have Rune's memories inside of her? Did Sid actually intend to bring Rune back to life like this? Calling herself Rune, behaving like Rune, something as simple as that would have been child's play for Sid. But that isn't Rune. That would have been nothing but a fake created copy of Rune. Just what was Sid thinking? There are no merits to this. That's not true at all. Sid's original plan for these sisters was to introduce them to the church and let them take care of the patients. Proof of that, I brought Sara to the abbot the other day. Not once the entire time we were there did he realized that Sara was a machine. Despite all that, they still gave us their disapproval. Honestly, it's just disgusting. There isn't a man alive who'd feel comfortable around this bucket of bolts. Can't even tell when it's around or not because it doesn't look alive. Just look at that face. We know what's going on inside its head. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Even if, as the members of Lab 9 also passionately assert, that Sara has a man mechanism to mimic emotion. What kind of merit is there to be able to reproduce that function? I'd love to hear some concrete, useful applications of this. Well, the fact that the church has denied the proposal means that there will be another hurdle to jump when it comes to using the Shavit's Medica. If we continue to shove this new model of sister down their throats, then we would be sowing unnecessary discord between us and the people whom we worked so hard to partner with. We will not use it in the Medica, nor will we use it in the church. In other words, there are no merits to mass producing these. Brutal, why are you so stubborn about this? I wouldn't have expected that opinion from you. She may be the one and only automaton. What the hell is automaton? I'm just gonna say automation. I think that's what they mean. I think that's a typo. The only automation built in this entire world that's been built and equipped with so-called emotional mechanism. If Sid was able to create something like that, then who knows what other mod-powered inventions lay ahead. This is a step from humanity. Just what is a person? What is conscious? What are emotions? This may lead to huge discoveries about the very philosophies of the humans themselves. Certainly mass production may be out of the question, but does that mean we can just disregard her entirely? I refuse to change my opinions on this. At the very least, I believe that it's far too early to scrap her. And here we are, back to square one. Alice, what do you think of all this? I think it's far too early to dismantle her as well. Well, the systems running inside her certainly piqued my interest. I can't even begin to understand what Sid's intentions were. I'm slowly beginning to think that Sid wasn't entirely mad when he created Sara. Not quite the answer I was expecting, but that means you're also opposed to sparing her. Yes? Very well. We shall continue to observe it. See you all tomorrow. So basically, it's just a bunch of observing. Excuse me, Elvis. Sara? What are you doing out of this hour? Have you completed your task for the day? Just a short while ago, actually. I see, which means you're off the clock now. May I have a moment to speak with you? Why the formality all of a sudden? Well, just what am I? Aww. She wants to know. Hello, Fear Kubrick. How you doing today? And it's actually afternoon for me, so technically good afternoon, but good morning to you. So I'll say that. That's quite the frank question. Am I on the inside, at least? Really? Don't worry, Bruto won't know a word of this. Speak your mind. Well, I was created just 2 years ago, right? You were. It's strange. Inside me are what seems to be childhood memories. They stretch all the way back to years and years ago, but I was just created only recently, so that can't be true. Elvis, just what am I? Am I a machine that was just born to be a tool? If that's the case, then why was I born with these memories? Just got off work, hoping to zone out for a dream. Okay, so have fun with the stream. Don't need a comment if you're just zoning out a little bit, but having a little bit of feedback would be cool. But just enjoy the show. Got a good show coming up here. We're learning a bit about this Sara chick over here. That's the kid's okay. I already read that. I have no idea. And as for just what those memories are inside you, the only person who can answer the question is no longer in this world. That's Sid, right? Correct. Was Sid Javits an integral part of your life, Elvis? Yes, he was my best friend. We were practically like brothers ever since we were children. Does Rudo take issue with the fact that I have these memories? Well, you certainly don't put him in a good mood, that's for sure. Sara, let me just give you one word of advice, okay? Okay? Do not ever cause any trouble. I'll be frank with you. Rudo has been wanting to dispose of you under the guise of dismantlement. You will find even the slightest excuse to do so, regardless of how minor or trivial the reason is. Is that because of the memories inside me? That's right. Look, Sara, I want you to listen carefully. If, and only if, you're about to do something wrong, consider that you're betting your entire being on the line. Do it with resolve that will be the end of everything. My entire being? That's right, you seem to have an ego, a proper sense of self-identity. There'll come a time for you to assert that sense of self, I'm sure of it. Myself. I am not the property of Javits Enterprise? If that's not the case, then shouldn't I have the right to bet myself, do I? If only you weren't just a machine. This is important. You've come to understand someday or another. Okay. So basically that little chat was about... I don't think she's entirely machine. I think there's some human AI inside her. Some super smart AI that just like kind of like mimics human life with like mana or something like that. I don't know. That's just my guess. Another year passed. Lab 9 was able to produce 3 new prototypes using Sara as our model. However, not a single one operated as well as Sid's own creation. There's clearly something fundamentally different about Sara. Far too much time had passed with us not knowing what it really was. Board of directors had been split between those two who wanted to observe and those who wanted to dismantle Sara. Some members switched from observe to dismantle. This was about a month ago. Thank you, Darius400, for following. Thanks for the love. Always good to have new family, new family members. So join the fam. I don't know. With that, Sara's dismantlement seemed all the more a reality. As days went on, Sara's intellect grew rapidly, using her own methods to measure and improve efficiency and... Thank you for subscribing. Hey, I have my first subscriber. So that's actually a kind of cool thing. Thank you, Fear Cube Brick. This is a monumental thing. So that's pretty awesome. So now you can do a bunch of stuff. You got a little perks you can do. You can use modes like that. Okay, I'll listen to you for a sec. But I'll actually read while I continue this because I don't want everyone else to just see me talking with someone because I know people want to watch the game. So I'll just be casually looking. Okay. You think both are messages? Okay, I think I already read this. That kind of work ethic and behavior, just like runes. Exactly like runes. From there, more and more people began to develop a disgust for Sara's very existence. I think it was just because she was too different. There was something about her existence that just triggered something in you instinctually. Just like Rune did. A great deal of people began to consider her as a threat, subconsciously. The one who had been most affected by this was none other than Rudo himself. Rudo? Is it true? Did you erase Sara's memories? It seems like access to Sara's brain is protected by several levels of security. Vothel, Nish, I call them Nids, so Vothel, Nids, and Kirky managed to find a way to bypass the first level. Okay, Okay, it won't be monthly, but I appreciate the gesture. If anything, if you don't plan to do it monthly, you can also do donations. So you can always do that. So you have to do them one time because when you subscribe, you get paid. You get charged monthly. But if you cancel before that, I don't think it'll do it. So if you really want to subscribe and do all the perks and stuff like that, then I recommend you cancel right before you before the charge date. So make sure you keep an eye out for that if you're not going to do it completely monthly. But seriously, thanks for the love. And thanks for saying I have something awesome in me. It's kind of a pleasure to know that I am reaching other people. Okay, you know how it works. Okay, cool. And back to the game, because I don't want to keep everyone else waiting, but I will definitely read to see what you say. I'm not asking you to explain how. I'm asking why you erased her memories. All the experience, the information, the knowledge she's accumulated. Albus, you should have realized this by now. It seems that Sid succeeded in recreating Rune's memories quite faithfully in Sara. How he managed to do so, I have no idea. The way she moves and acts, they're all very reminiscent of Rune's own behavior. What does that have to do with why you erased her? What does that have to do with it, you ask? Plenty. If by some chance even a small portion of Rune's own personality exists within Sara, then there could be no greater threat. I'm sure you're fully aware of how dangerous Rune was. Being a little nitpicky here, but I see that's a little space that's not supposed to be there. Right over I'm. But I'd like to hear an explanation for all this. Do enlighten me on why things have turned out this way. I'm sorry, sir. I honestly have no clue. Theoretically, all of our methods should be working. Do you know what your name is? Yes. My name is Sara. It was given by me and given to me by you, Rudo. Looks like it's not working. That's strange. We're doing the erasure procedure by the book. There shouldn't be anything wrong with that. So Rudo, this is just a guess, but we probably need the highest level of access privilege in order to erase the memories of Sara's core. We can't do anything with only our mana signature. Interesting. What about purging its internal mana altogether? If we did that, it would likely cease to function. It's not just a likelihood, it'll be completely and utterly shut down. It'll be good as scrap. Dismantling it will be the least of our concerns. Sir Sid, I'm honestly not sure as to why all these complex safeguards were put in place. It's almost as if he's making sure that no one would ever tamper with it. Sorry, okay, it's fine you took a little long, but how you doing today, by the way? Thanks for coming by. It's almost as if he's making sure that no one would ever tamper with it. Indeed. Damn. What should I... If your memories haven't been erased and you ought to know already, go back to work. Leave. Aww. Have Earth give some input. Sara, what's wrong at this time of night? Albus, you said that Sid was your best friend and an integral part of your life, right? What brought this on all of a sudden? Friends are important, right? Well, of course they are. There isn't anyone more important to life than your family and friends. But she doesn't have any of those. It's kinda sad. Thank you. Yeah. Why? Of all times for you to do cause trouble, why at this critical point? You knew that there was gonna be a votation regarding you 4 days from now. I remember the advice you gave me a long time ago. Advice? Good grief. What is it this time? I swear, another emergency summons. Oh, Sara. What, you don't even know how to greet someone? Good afternoon, Mr. Gukalis. This really is nothing but a defective piece of junk. Have you heard of I heard you even stole sediment at the mines earlier. Interesting. What an absolute waste. We really should have you dismantled as soon as possible. I apologize. Discussing that matter exactly why we're gathered here today. Please reserve your arguments until the other members have come. It's how many of you do you even expect to come? You academics in your ivory tower may not know, but the other members of the board of directors are already speaking as if dismantlement has been assured. Oh no. But judging by how things sound now, they're not gonna dismantling her. They're not gonna be, because we kind of know her in the present. So, interesting. You ought to be grateful that I've even bothered to go to the effort of attending this meeting to confirm all this. Okay, so, oh, we're back. Sara. So that's how it is. I finally understand. You don't seem to quite grasp. The entire series of events has truly been bizarre. What Sara is exactly, yes? Indeed. However, I absolutely do not want to see her dismantled. Something inside me tells me so. Tomorrow, her dismantlement will be decided upon. I must come up with a way to protect her from that after our meeting. Is that even possible? Isn't the board of directors or something going to determine by majority vote? If Rudo for some reason changes his mind, then I'm sure the direction of the entire meeting will change as well. There are many members who don't really have an opinion and will simply go with whatever he decides. Albus, yes? Please, let me meet with Rudo. I was actually thinking the same thing. But I'm sure you already know that, right? Correct. Albus' suggestion. We perform a mind dive on Sara. If we did that, then we could find out Sara's real identity. However, when it came to Selphiene's desire to perform the mind dive, it's alright, Ritona. I'm sure he'll understand. Okay. Selphine had her own plan, which she kept only to herself. Even I was unaware of what she had in mind. With only a lingering trace of doubt, we head over to Lab 9, where Rudo was. Okay. Oh, that was quick. So, I'm gonna actually continue with Chapter 7. So, why don't we just do that, and we'll do Chapter 8 next week, and I guess that'll be the end. Okay. So, the series is coming to a close soon. So, this is a laboratory. I thought that was rather unsettling when we spotted it as we roamed around town. But it seems science doesn't mesh well with me. They cause me too much discomfort. Let's head inside. Who are you? Rudo. Albus, I believe we have a strict policy on not allowing any outsiders into the lab, do we not? This isn't time for that. I have something important I need to discuss with you. Can it not wait until tomorrow? I'm in the middle of putting something together. I'm putting together a presentation and a report regarding Sara's dismantlement. You're gonna make like a little slide PowerPoint of just, this is why Sara should be dismantled. 1, she's not a freaking human. 2, she's weird. 3, I have a self-loathing for her. That's my presentation. That's basically what's gonna go on. Okay. That's exactly what I'm trying to talk with you. I want you to reconsider this matter. Ah, how desperately are you gonna cling to that thing? Isn't it about time to let go, Albus? Regardless of what you do, the opinions of the board of directors is not gonna change. Do you have more important things to do? I didn't come here to change my opinion on any member on the board. I'm here to change yours. What? We want you to see Sara's dismantlement. And here, I was expecting you to say something else entirely. Rudo. These two people are monocrafters. And this girl, Selphine. She used a cravat that allows people to consciousness to communicate directly. That cravat gives her the ability to let people share memories directly with each other. Oh. Do you understand what that means, Rudo? With this, we could all see into Sara's memories and find out who she truly is. Don't you see? The question of shared identity can finally be solved. I don't see, Albus. Let's say, hypothetically, that Sidja Habits managed to use Rune as a model and implant her into Sara. What purpose would it serve? For all we know, she may have inherited Rune's memories. How she did accomplish it, I don't know, but it's no exaggeration to say that she may be Rune herself. Enough with the sorry excuses. What would lead you to that conclusion in the first place? Regardless of the circumstances, there's no changing the fact that Sara's a machine. It's nothing more than a prototype of sister, an automation. Oh, I guess it's not a thing, an automaton, that's what I'll call it. sounds fancy, automaton, whose development consumed vast amounts of its enterprise's own finances. The fact that Sara is an object. But still, if I may, Sophie had been quiet the entire time, but she suddenly speaks out. Whether or not she is a machine has nothing to do with this. The issue at hand is whether or not she is Sara or Rune. Albus, Rudo, both of you have forgotten something crucial here. Something crucial? Yes. Which is what exactly? For starters, I'd like to propose my conclusion that she is a Rune. Interesting. How did you come to that conclusion? Simply based on what Sid had felt, there's no other possible conclusion. There's no way that outsiders like you could have known what my father was thinking. But I do. Through our dive with Albus, we were able to see Sid's way of life, its entire existence. Sid did not just shut himself in the lab, losing sanity to desperation. I'm sure he did so to research a way to give your little sister Rudo a second chance at life. He created a heart for her missing emotions. Aw, that's cute. That's actually kind of cute. I mean, like, when Rune was alive, she was basically a screwed up child. She basically was the problem child. And she basically cost the whole enterprise to like basically shut down for a little bit because she like killed off so many members and like poisoned them and then killed herself. But Sid was like, I loved my child even though she was such a horrible girl. Why don't we try and restart her from the beginning? And so that was his basic project. So basically it was like he basically wanted a child of his to call his own, but he wanted to like redo her with the actual emotions and have her live her own child life, I guess. Who knew boys could be cute? Yeah. For his own daughter, that so-called hellspawn, he used the path down. Path down? I see. If there was a scientific equivalent to the path down, then that possibility would be very likely. Transferring Rune's memory, that's exactly what the path down is. How did I not notice this before? And if she has emotions, then the entire issue is not even something we should be discussing, regardless of whether she is Rune or Sara. With dignity being for her eyes, Selphine speaks straight to us in a clear voice. It's wrong to deprive her of will. As a being in possession of a mind, heart, and spirit, being a human or a machine has no bearing on the matter. I'm sure I'll remember this very moment a long time from now. The moment when this sense of justice was able to penetrate regardless of any country's borders. Nonsense. Rudo, perhaps you've realized it? That Sid created Sara to give Rune the emotions she never had? Absolute nonsense. If so, this may be a great precedent that could affect just what our definition of human is. If that's the case, it's no longer a problem just confined to just us. Seven's Enterprise has the right, no, the duty, to confront this ethical issue from straight on. Enough nonsense from you. Sara does not have a heart. Fine, let's just pretend that were true. Even then, Sara's able to completely cut its emotions off whenever it's ordered to do something. You can't say anything that has a heart and just switch its emotions on and off as easily as just flipping a switch. None of you understand. The kind of being my sister was, what was lurking behind her smile, her senseless, meaningless acts of evil. Sara had intended Rune's memories and personality, and there couldn't be anything more dangerous. Still, if Sid succeeded in artificially creating emotions using Vana, then enough of this foolish speculation. Why don't you use those theories of yours to write a novel or something? Now, if you'll all excuse me, I have more pressing matters to attend to. Rudo. Confound it all. Rudo, we're not done here. Rudo, if Rune were born with emotions, with a heart, then would you be able to accept her as your own little sister? It has already come to a point where there is no clear-cut right or wrong answer. However, as someone who stands above everyone else, you have the right to make that decision. As if you'd know anything. Is this all? All that we could have done? The sun, it's rising. Okay. Interesting. Ooh. Okay, we got a little thing. Okay. Let's see how this plays off. Don't make that face, Sid. Your smile's just so much more wonderful. Expect me to smile like this? Heck, how can you smile at a time like this? Who knows? I'm not sure either. I'm sure it's because I've just run out of tears to shed. A line. I'm so sorry. Really. I've always been caught up with work that not once did I ever do anything for the family. I brought this on all of a sudden. If only I'd been there for Rudo and Rune. If only I'd spent more time with them, then all this would never have happened. Ditching my family for my work. I'm just like my damn dad. Don't say that, Sid. It's not time for you to regret the things you've done. I don't want to see you all weak like this. I just don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do anymore. Damn it. Tell me, Sid. Rune's issues, were they some kind of sickness? I always thought to myself, if that girl had a heart, would she have lived a more normal life? I can't say for sure. Maybe that really was her real honest-to-goodness personality. And even if we managed to cure that flaw of Rune's, who knows what changed inside her. I see. Like, does not having emotions really turn someone into that much of a mess? Does that mean that we're born selfish and arrogant and messed up, and emotions are just a way to stop us, to keep us all in check? Heck, if I know, you're right. Hey, Sid, could you tell me something? Do you hate Rune? Dunno. Hate ain't the right word for it. Just feel so helpless and miserable. Well, if you asked me if I hated her or not, then I guess I might have. If it weren't for Rune, then our family would be whole. Or so I think. But that's a thought I can't really hold on to for long. So I'm just left with nothing but feeling miserable. That's all. And what about you? At first, I didn't really feel anything. I was just in a daze. It's like my entire world was engulfed in mist and I lost my sensation in my entire body. I had no words, no feelings, no thoughts. I could barely consider myself conscious. Nothingness. That was it. But some time passed, I felt like I was attacked by deep nausea, like I was going to throw up, while I had a piercing headache. It made me question why I was still even here at all. It made me hate the fact I was even alive. I wanted to die. Just living was painful. So painful. So basically, yeah, fear could break. Emotions are basically what sets up our morals, basically. I'm sure I just didn't even know what to think. You know what? It's strange. Even after all that pain and hardship and suffering that Rune made me go through, the more I thought about it, the more I realized I just couldn't come to hate Rune. I just wanted to talk with her one last time. Ask her what thoughts she had as she lived. To know what was going through her mind when she put that end to a short life of hers. To simply ask for her forgiveness, not trying to understand her. I'm so sorry, Rune. Sorry if you had someone like me for your mother. What the heck? Why are you apologizing like this? You didn't do a single thing wrong. Don't lie for me anymore, Sid. Everything you've done was always for the kids. You're a damn fine mother. No. The only one who I'd been thinking of was myself. After the Krakalis incident, Rune finally settled down. I thought to myself everything would go well. Finally have a normal family life is what I thought. But I think I already realized it, that something was just slightly off. It was ever so subtle, but that discomfort would just go away in the blink of an eye. If I ever once put that feeling into words, if I even once admitted that feeling, then our days of peace and quiet would all just shatter and fall apart. That's what I thought. I was so scared. Which is why I subconsciously pretended not to notice. I was simply chasing after an illusion, nothing more. A stupid illusion of a perfect, ideal family. In the end, The only person who I was thinking about was myself. It's all in the past, the line. You can only see that because all this happened. You lived your entire life in your family's happiness. I won't believe you for a second if you said you were only thinking about yourself. But the MRI results were right there. And more importantly, even Rudo told me about her. Rune's behaving strangely, he told me. And how did I respond? Be nicer to her. I spoke if it weren't even my problem. And I didn't listen to a word that Rudo said. I was taking advantage of Rudo's kindness. And he's just kind of eavesdropping on this little conversation we're having. He's got his act together. I can just leave it all to him, I thought. Because of how strong Rudo was. I left him to deal with Rune. All of his worries. He's balled up inside himself. Aw, so sad. Even though I'm sure it was painful for him. He did all that for my sake. Line. I don't even know what to think. Yeah, it looks tough on the kid. She kinda just left some Rune in his hands. It's kinda hard battle for him. Please, don't leave Rudo alone, Sid. Yeah, I promise you. Take care of yourself and ease up that research of yours. Because once you're gone, Rudo will really be all alone. Rudo will never be alone, I promise you that. All I can remember is an interest in the outside world, and the frustration with the fact I couldn't escape the silence of the birdcage called the Hour Pole. Frustration, I think, is what it was. That everything was just so unfair. I didn't know how to express that feeling. Everyone around me had something, an objective that would drive them to continue their day-by-day lives, but me, I was just completely empty. Oh, that's just right. What's this in the center? The very first time I had experienced something akin to emotion was when as a child I saw a bird twitching on the side of the road. Perhaps it was attacked by another animal. Deep red blood seeped out of its neck as it convulsed. Eventually the bird stopped moving altogether. Some kind of feeling from deep within my chest desperately attempted to emerge. The onlookers voiced their pity for the bird. I said it was funny. Everyone stared at me with the strangest looks. Seeing death before my eyes, I wanted to see it again. I wanted to feel that feeling again. In hindsight, perhaps that really was my pity. I wasn't even able to distinguish such a simple emotion. After observing the other people around me, I was able to mimic their own behavior. When I was a child, I was confined to the house. There were a few people who were always around. There were my mother and my brother. My mother had a weak constitution, but whenever she spoke, she was very energetic. Though her body was weak, her spirit was strong. She was a very warm person. I didn't know how to respond to that warmth of hers. There was nothing stranger and more alien to me than her unconditional love. I didn't even begin to comprehend it. My brother, even though he spoke gently, he always had a scowl on his face. It was well deserved, because I was constantly causing him nothing but grief. But despite all that, he still worked hard every single day at Savitt's enterprise. Even though no one expected anything of him, he continued to diligently toil away in the shadow of his little sister. He was constantly anxious, being compared to his father by everyone around him. Always afraid of having succeed his father, Sid Savitt, who was a multi-talented one in a million prodigy. The barrier he had scaled reached all the way to the heavens. It was impossible. Rudo himself knew this and still chose to try and surmount it. Constantly aimed for the summit, not even knowing if he could ever make it to the top. I remember that upon seeing my brother of mine, within me arose a powerful desire to destroy it all. In hindsight, perhaps I looked up to him, for his persistence and grit to take on even the toughest challenges all by himself. All I could ever do was mimic others. I was frantically trying to reconstruct a present. On the other hand, my brother was fervent and single-minded in forging a path forward. I was just so jealous of that. Looking back on all this, there really was just a hair's breadth of a difference between all kinds of emotion. I actually was driven by these strange alien things called emotions after all. I am the one who killed my mother, and I am the one who ruined my father, and I am the one who caused my brother to suffer. Dad, why did you bring me back to this world? So, this is the normal rune, and I think that's, wait, I think this is, yeah, I think this is a normal rune. This is, rune right now. Did you bring me back here just so I could wallow in despair? Is this is all this my atonement? Only if it had been slightly different, then I wouldn't have caused all these people to experience such pain and suffering. I've done so many things I could never take back, committed so many wrongs that even my death could not hope to absolve. I truly was a being that should never have been. But then, what am I? The man I consider my father, truly Sid Chavitz? Was the person who I'd always stared emptily at truly my brother Rudo? My memories, Rune's memories? Rune is someone I should never have been born. But then that means I too should have never been born. Am I Sara? If I am, then that means I'm only borrowing these memories from Rune. And if that's the case, then what exactly is Sara? Nothing makes sense anymore, but there's one thing I know. I don't want to cause Rudo any more trouble. If he truly does find my existence contemptuous, then I would gladly die? Be destroyed? What am I really? If only I could have seen Miss Selphie or Miss Matona once more. I wanted to tell him goodbye. That was a loud freaking thing. Sara. Yes? Your dismantlement will be determined by a collective vote tomorrow. Return to Lab 9 and stand by there for the remainder of today. Head straight to Lab 9. I've already informed Vothel and the others. Follow their orders. Understood. Master Rudo, thank you for everything. I believe I ordered you to switch off your emotions. I couldn't. I've tried so many times, but it seems I don't have the access rights to do so. If you couldn't do so, then why do you still follow my order? Do you abide by my illogical, preposterous orders without a single word of complaint? That's because that is what you desired of me. Why? Why are you smiling? Because I'm happy. What? I've always been taking things away from you, but now I can finally give you something that you've always wanted. Something I've always wanted? The possibility of me becoming Rune will cease to exist. I thought about just running away so many times. I thought about my death, my deconstruction. That if I disobeyed your orders, then you'd end up shouldering the responsibility for my actions. Finally, the time has come that I am no longer needed. If you have emotions, do you not feel fear? Aren't you afraid? I'm very afraid. Very much so. So afraid that I just want to run away this very minute. But I fear even more, so my existence will only cause you even more pain. Yeah, she's so chipper. Kinda hurts to see that she might possibly be destroyed. That I feel like she's definitely more human than she is machine. I can definitely say that. What? I know that you're a really nice, kind person. You were always watching out for your little sister. I'm sure that back then she didn't realize how dearly you thought of her, but now I'm sure she can understand. Just how much of Rune's memory has been destroyed inside you? I do not know. Time passes, fragments of the memories are slowly coming back to me. But as for those are truly my memories, there's no way for me to tell. What in the world are you? I don't know anymore. Not a single thing, but the one thing I do know. Rudo, I'm just a girl that admires you as my brother. But I don't even know what that means. Damn it. Rudo, we'll never be alone, I promise you that. Damn it. Dad, you son of a bitch. Rune. Will you call me Rune? Is it okay? Is it okay if I can call you brother again? Do whatever you want. You mean it? Brother, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for everything. Hope I'm doing a convincing little act over here. I'm trying to sound sad. Rudo. This is a formula I've never once calculated right before my eyes. I don't think processing it could ever keep up with it. I think this is the source of the noise that's always been deep inside my heart. The emotions behind my deconstructive tendencies from before. My feelings for you as my brother. Why did I notice it so sooner? The equation's so vast, I could just break it down. It's so exasperatingly simple. What do people call this feeling? At first, I wish I'd never been birthed to Rune. I wish I never left my hometown, moved to Kadia, worked at Shehevitz. Wish I never met you, that I should have stayed and took over the family business. Wish I'd never had to do anything with the name thing. Keep it up. I'm keeping a good job? Okay. As long as I'm doing good, making the audience enjoy the video, enjoy the stream, that's all good. I wish I never had anything to do with the name Shehevitz. That a life like that would have never been much better. But you know, that's impossible. I'm so glad I have you and Rudo and Rude. I love you so madly from the bottom of my heart. Just thinking about it is depressing. A life without that girl. I couldn't imagine that, even if I wouldn't end up like this. A line. We had our ups and downs, but I'm so glad I met you. I'm so glad I gave birth to Rudo, even though the world may never forgive us for it. I'm so glad I gave birth to Rune. So glad to have lived. Line. I love you, Sid. It was a fun life. Line. Everything in your hands now. Aw, so sad. I have a favor to ask you too. Would you take my little sister, Rune, along with your travels? She's always wanted to travel the world, and as you can see, she isn't human, so she isn't subject to mana shock. Rune can go wherever and whenever. I'm sure she'll be used of you. Whether or not she's of use is of no consequence. So of course we'd be happy to have her come with us. Victory pose. I like it. Okay, my nose is running a little bit. Pardon-moi. Selfie. Oh yeah, I'm going now. She truly is a fascinating girl. It's hard for me to express the sentiment if I had to put it into words. So I'm liking this end right now. So basically what's happening right now is Rudo is like, you know what? Let me just give Rune to you. I don't want her dead. I just want her in good hands. So that's really good ending. At least for now. At least for now, because I know there's a second game, I think? I'm pretty sure there's a second game. It's hard for me to express the sentiment, but if I had to put it into words, just looking at her gives me peace of mind. My position had to handle a great deal of responsibility at a young age. Confident as a good judge of character. Selfie has no hidden agenda, no ulterior motives, and if she understands her sense of justice so well that she doesn't need to contemplate before acting on it. And her strong sense of curiosity gives off a strange but attractive radiance about her. Decades ago, the man who founded Shehevitz Enterprise. Yeah, I have time to talk after the stream, so I'll just stay in the chat for a little bit. Decades ago, the man who founded Javits Enterprise possessed that same radiance, something which I do not have. Rudo. Ritona. What is it? Being called by name all of a sudden feels rather off-putting. Oh, well, feels rather off-putting. Take this with you. What is this? It's a device that uses technology to recreate the so-called comcraft that you used, currently going under development. Using a certain wavelength in the mana stream called radio waves as a medium, it can be used to send messages of information. Is that even possible? Just how far the capabilities of science extend? So basically it's just a little radio so they can keep touch. That's kinda cool. But as you see, the distance of our homeland is considerable. The burden of using mana to maintain a long-distance stream will have to fall on to one of two parties, otherwise it'll be cut. Rune is certainly out of the question, and you can't use your own internal mana as well, so how will that be maintained? We'll use sediment as long as you continue to provide a constant supply to maintain the line, then I suppose there should be no trouble. Well, I suppose. Constantly using purified mana every single day when it's more valuable than even precious metals? How much of a financial strain would that be, I wonder? At the very least, it's certainly not something that one individual could possibly afford. Oh, I see how it is now. Even though you're the leader of the company, wouldn't that be a problem with the board of directors if you were to use up that much money? Why would it be a problem? This is a merely field test of a new product prototype. He answers nonchalantly as he puts a smug smile on his face. If we could prove the effectiveness of this technology, then if we can bypass the use of boats and the postal system altogether, we should be able to get in contact with other regions of the outer pole. The failed plans of my father and Albus had for market expansion will no longer be a dream once again. Furthermore, seeing as the company's unwanted baggage, which had caused us many a heartache, which will finally be disposed of, will then here be no issues whatsoever. Eloquently put. Seeing Rudo's articulate with such life, such animation, I think to myself, since the dive, he seemed to me the type that never let his guard down. Despite his age, there is no better word to describe this man than cunning. Besides, I'd rather not. I'd rather not lose contact with my little sister. For just a moment. I see. You do have a point there. It seemed to me that Rudo's cold, charred eyes had relaxed. Just wait a moment, if you please, Selphine. What is it? I just remembered something. Please, wait here just a moment. I have something I need to tell Albus. Sure. Excuse me, Albus. What is it? Savvy Dick? I do have a bottle of stuff. Yeah. It's been 2 years since someone's had to bring it in, so I was thinking of just tossing the damn thing out. Didn't expect it to be yours, Mr. Foltzer. Here you go. It's a note. What's up, Albus? If you're reading this note, that means everything went perfectly. I'm sure you got all sorts of questions, but there's something I gotta do right now, Albus. I'm sorry. Sorry for not telling you anything. But it was something I had to. I made a promise to Helene. I never let Rudo be alone. I'm sure you already had an inkling, but I didn't have much longer to live. But I had a duty. The duty to leave Rudo with family. Which should I have done? Mana research was something I'd been doing long before I had a family. I dedicated my entire life to it. Ironic. I get killed by the research I loved while I threw aside what should have been protected most. Then one day I remembered. It was something written down in a book I read long ago. A method used by royalty on the inner pole to pass their experiences and memories down to their descendants. A ceremony called the Pathstone. The Pathstone is a special kind of manacraft only for royalty are able to use. But then I thought to myself, as long as it uses mana, there's gotta be a way to recreate it using our science. Through my research, I discovered 2 unknown properties in mana. 1. The purified mana of a human will remain inside the person long after their death. 2. In general, this mana can be subdivided into 3 types. Memories, experience, 2 of which form emotions, all of which are saved in the mana. I decided to call this memory mana. Manacraft is still in infancy. People back then would just mummify their royalty and stuff, right? That kind of practice might have been so they can keep that person's mana inside their body for as long as they possibly could. Well, whatever. Anyway, I succeeded in extracting the memories mana from Rune's body and transfer it into the body of a sister. I also managed to create a sister that would inherit Rune's mannerisms perfectly, but then there was a problem with that plan. If you didn't have any emotions, then she turned out exactly like Rune had. There would be no point in that. So I figured out a way to extract the emotions from my own memory mana. I decided to give that mannerism that formed the emotions inside me all to her. But then there was a problem with that, too. See, we're people from the outer pole. This is a craft that only royalty from the inner pole can use. I knew that if I tried to pull something like this off, my body couldn't handle it. If you extract a huge amount of mana from your body, then you'd die from some kind of reverse mana shock. That'd be that. But you see, I didn't have much longer left in me anyway. So I decided Labs 9 Protocol would be the trigger to my own version of the path down memory mana. Maybe this is what people refer to as the soul. A machine that inherits Rune's memories and carries emotions. Who would that be? No. To be more precise, what would that be? People would fear it. Probably have to call a blasphemous heretic for toying around with the deceased. But you know what? Mana hides too many possibilities to imagine. It's filled with too many outcomes to understand. As we humans continue our research into mana, I'm sure we'll encounter these problems. Beings that inherit memory mana, what exactly are they? Mana will likely only bring more ethical issues to light. I've said it as that her emotion imitation mechanism can't be cut off, even by our own self. I've deleted all the logs that can't be copied. Sorry, that's just my ego at work. I thought to myself, maybe it's too soon that the world will be accepting of being like her. But the fact that you're reading this memo means it wasn't entirely the case. I mean, at least there's one person in this world who's willing to accept her as family. Well, that's that. Stay well, Abbas. P.S. From the moment I met you, you've always been a family to me, until the very end. No matter what happens, nothing's ever going to change that fact. That's how it's been, it's how it's going to be. Yes, he said dick. I just noticed that, okay. I suppose that isn't enough for how you feel. I'm sorry I couldn't return your feelings. You're too damn obvious. Aw, he's crying. That's so sweet. Are we all ready to go? Well, we'll just save there. If you enjoy my streams on Twitch, make sure to follow to keep updated with whenever I'm live. And if you're really into my stuff, as we now have one of them, you can make sure to subscribe for more perks and more stuff like that. So now we have a subscriber, so we can have someone else that can help me out with this. So if you type hi and stuff like that, you get a little badge, and FuryCubeRick has a little badge as well. So as you can see on his, that it has a little badge. So that's pretty dang awesome. And you could also type emotes. I have one emote thus far, which is Jessu's mask. I find it pretty cool. I feel it's just a little thing to show off the little community we have. So I think it's a really cute thing I added. If I decide to change it, I'll always tell you that. And if you want to do some custom commands, I have a couple of those. So if you want an anime suggestion for something like that, you can type in anime and you get a little recommendation. So my recommendation is The World God Only Knows. I really like that anime, so I recommend you watch it. And if you want to do something like Dangan Waifu, because I know my Danganronpa series is one I really enjoyed, you can do Dangan Waifu, and my Danganronpa waifu is Junko Enoshima, so I got the crazy one. Oh god. So that's pretty despair-filled. So yeah, if you're on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to keep updated whenever I release videos. And if you want to keep updated with what I'm doing offline, or if you just want to see some past videos and stuff like that, make sure to go in the description below. If you're on YouTube or if you're on Twitch, you can be in the Twitch panels, which on desktop it should be below the stream, or if you're on mobile, it should be to the top right of the screen. I'm pretty sure. I haven't checked it in a while. I don't know if it's updated or not. So yeah, I will see you in the next one. Peace.